Hello, my lovely Flosstube friends. How are you? My name is Sally. I'm also known as Flossie Sews and Grows on here, YouTube, and on Instagram. This is Flosstube number 32. Goodness, we're getting through them. And it is Friday, the 26th of April. Welcome to you if you are new. It's lovely to have you here and joining me. And if you've been coming for a while, welcome back. It's lovely to see you again. If you are new and you haven't subscribed, please just, if you'd lovely to go and just tick that little subscribe box and give me a little like, and also give me a little comment. I'd love to know where you've come from. If someone else has sent you over here or suggested me, it would be lovely to hear that, so I can go and say thank you to them. So I'm going to do a little bit, it's going to be a little bit disjointed for me, but hopefully smooth and seamless for you. But I'm doing a little part of my first bit of filming this morning, and then I'm going out to meet my friends Roz and Hazel, and then I'm going to come back and finish filming this afternoon because I really want to show you something that I've got. If you can remember, Roz, my friend, she's Roz Clark Crafts on YouTube and on Instagram. Go and have a follow of her. She's a very interesting lady. Stitches some quite different things to me occasionally, but very inspirational with doing things like colour and changing things up, which I've been a little bit inspired by her, so you'll see that in a minute. But if you can remember, Roz decided to send some gifts to the lovely Sarah and I because we are 50 this year and we are doing our Fun for 50 SAL. So that's with Sarah, who is at Sew Me Sarah here on Instagram, here on Flosstube and on Instagram. And Roz sent us both these beautiful, we both had a project bag, and then she sent us this beautiful book which is called In Friendship's Way. Now, Sarah, if you have a look at Sarah's Instagram, she stitched, so it was Roz's birthday 10 days ago, and Sarah stitched her this little birdie. And if you go and have a look on Sarah's Instagram, you'll see the finish for that. Now, Sarah and I did discuss who was going to stitch what out of this book, and Roz a couple of times had said to me, when I messaged her to say thank you, and then also we met for a cup of tea here not long after, she said a couple of times, I really love the button box. So this is the button box that is in the book. So that kind of set me a little bit of a challenge, that I needed to do something for Roz for her 50th birthday. So this is what I did. A button box. So here we go. So this is the button box, and I've done it in Roz colours. I have tried to bling this one up. So I have stitched this on a Fabric by Kate, so Fabrics by Crafty Kate, and I believe it is Stormy Skies, and it's a 36 count linen, and I think it looks fabulous with this. Now you'll see the colours of this button box are typical kind of blackbird colours, really, a bit more muted. I thought Roz doesn't do muted. Roz loves purples and pinks. So I have stitched this purely with Roxy Floss Co. flosses, and I have just picked out what I think would look best when I've come to stitch it. So certainly the flowers and the bird, lots of kind of bright Roz-like colours. So I think you will agree. I'm hoping. I think she'll love this. So this is a box that I've just bought from the works, and I've just varnished it with some wood varnish that I had in the garage, that I think I bought to varnish my wooden worktop in the house that I lived in over 10 years ago. And then inside I varnished some of the top, but I didn't varnish the bottom, but I've just stuck in a bit of wadding on some mount board with some wadding and covered it with some fabric so that it's got a soft bottom. And then I have put a slightly wonky little label here just to say that it was made by me, and then a little 50 to celebrate, well, to mark that it was our 50th. So this was a little 50 charm that Roz gifted me, I think, to put on every single one of my 50 new starts for 50. So obviously this was one of them, so it deserves a little 50. So before I met Roz today and gifted this to her, I really wanted to show it to you because I'm just so proud of it, and I really love it. So it's going to be very hard to give it away, but I can't think of anyone better to give it to. So there we are. So I'm very proud of that. So that is what my first fully finished object for the last 2 weeks. I think it's my only fully finished object actually, but I have got a couple of finishes. But I will come back to you after I've been to meet Roz and Hazel and we've had brunch, and I'll see you again this afternoon. And just like that, it's as if I've never been away. So I've had a lovely morning with Roz and Hazel, and as predicted, Roz was absolutely thrilled with the button box. I will just pop some little pictures up of our morning. We met on a farm where we had brunch, so sausage sandwich. No, I had a bacon sandwich with a sausage on the side because it was all meat from their farm, so it was lovely, and cake, and just lots of Stitchy chat and some beautiful gifts, which I'll show at the end as well. So it was just a really nice morning. So I've really enjoyed it, but thrilled to be back with you. So I showed you my fully finished object. Actually, I only had one finish. Now, thought I was prepared, but where's my board? Trusty board. So I've just got one finish, and it was Schoolgirl Lessons by Little House Needleworks, and I stitched this on a 40 count mystery fabric with Roxy Floss Co Merlot. So really pleased with this, and lots of you joined in with us. So this was one that Sarah and I both did this month, so started and finished this month. So who joined in? Just so Sherry joined in. She chose a beautiful sulky thread, absolutely gorgeous colour. Go and have a look at her Instagram for that. Cross Stitch Sarah joined in. I think she also did a red. Rebecca at Lofty Makes, and she's finished as well. And I think actually we have enabled Lindsay at Wolfie Stitches to do this as well when she spotted it. So it's a gorgeous little stitch. I do have a plan for fully finishing this one, but that's going to be for later in the year, so you may see it at some point later. So that was my finishes. So starts. I have got, so I'm going to tell you about the little bag that I made for my friend Alex. Pop a little picture up here because she now has received it. This was so I used about, I think it was 2008 that this was a quilt block of the month. It's by Leanne Beasley of Leanne's House, who was an Australian quilter and probably my favourite quilt designer actually, certainly at the time. But I don't make quilts anymore. I do have, I have a beautiful quilt top from a pattern by Annie Downs that I need to finish, and I've got another one as well. Can't remember who. I'll show you those at a later. Perhaps do a little bit of show and tell of my quilts at the end of cross stitch floss tubes in future ones. But I'd done this block of the month, and I'd put quite a few blocks together. So last year I thought I need to make something for my mum for a birthday. What do you make mothers who have everything? And actually I made a cushion out of one of the blocks, which I'll put a little picture up here. But then I've got lots of the little blocks, so the little patches, so lots of these. So with the block of the month, I used to get, each month I'd get the fabric, the pattern, and go ahead and start making them. And I think I got to block 4 or 5. So I've done quite a lot of this, and then I've still got quite a lot of the fabric left. So these are two of the blocks that I can look at. All those French knots. I'm quite proud of those. I think I probably find it easier to do French knots on fabric than I do on cross stitch fabric, actually. So these have got lots of applique. You know, I spent a lot of time making these, although it was a long time ago. And I kind of pulled them out and thought, right, you know, I'm not going to make a quilt out of them. I'm not going to make a quilt out of them, but I need to do something with them. So I had the two blocks on Alex's bag. I already had stitched together, and I just thought, right, just make a little project bag out of those. So that's what I did. So those are the two I want to do something with. And then I here have got 3 blocks that I've stitched together, as you can see. And again, you know, French knots. Look at the French knots on that one, on that lavender. And then all the stitching in these blocks here. Yeah, I mean, I've done, you know, I have done a lot. So I think with this is 3 blocks stitched together. What I might do is unpick. So I've got 3 blocks of 9, and maybe make slightly bigger bags out of those that I can put projects in with a bigger nudge hoop. Because some of my hoops don't fit in my smaller project bags. So that's what I think I might do with that. So I mean, this is just, I think it was called Butterfly Garden. It's just absolutely beautiful. So, you know, really, former me, pre-children, a bit more time on my hands. I had more time to spend quilting and doing things like that. Really, you know, really want to do something with this. So, repurpose it, maybe not, you know, I have got a couple of quilts. I've got quilts, 2 quilts downstairs, one that occasionally comes and it's actually on my bed at the moment, just for a single one, just for me, for a bit of extra warmth. So really want to make use of those, and so hopefully you'll see something in the future with those coming up. So I did have new starts. Obviously, what month would it be without a new start? I think we have got to I've now started 22, so the last start you'll see here is 22 of my 50 with Sarah. So I think I'm doing pretty well. So start number 1 for me, since I last saw you, is Spring Quaker by Lila Studio, and I am stitching this with Alex. So I a little bit I watched Hathaway Stitches this week, and they mentioned Alex, and I've been saying Alex's name as @StitchAlexOng, and was it Erin said her name, said it @StitchAlexOng, but I think they are coming up with a new name for Alex, because she does do lots of stitch alongs. So I don't know if she's been called Salix. I'm not sure, but I think there's debate whether she changes her Instagram name. But sorry if I've been getting the pronunciation wrong, Alex. I'm more than happy for you to correct me. But at least I've said it what I thought was right on this one. So Alex and I started this together on Alex's birthday. So the hashtag for that is #SpringQuakerBirthdaySal. And there's actually quite a few of you who have joined in with us on this one. I know Marianne is stitching along with us. I think Caroline, Jen. Oh, is Ruth Country Gal? Possibly Ruth. There's quite a few. I'll try and tag you all in, so people can go and have a look at your Instagram or Flosstubes as well. So here we are with my start. So perhaps it's a little bit bluer. That's probably about the right colour, actually. So this is on Bluetiful by Fabrics by Crafty Kate. It's 36 count, and I'm stitching mainly with the called for DMCs at this stage, although there are a couple of changes. I have actually changed this little flower here, that I've changed to I think it's violet, or it's a violet colour, certainly from Roxy Floss Co. But I'm pretty much, I think, will just make up the colours a little bit for this as I go along. I think they're perhaps just like the yellow of the house. It's perhaps just a little bit more muted than I would like. So I think there's another yellow house a bit further along, and some of the flowers are maybe this yellow, and I might choose a slightly brighter yellow for those. But so far I've really enjoyed stitching this one so far, and considering I was a bit scared of it and it took a bit of persuasion from Alex to agree to start it, I'm loving it. I'm absolutely loving it, and it's a biggie. It will not get finished in my 50th year. It will be on, I'm going to do Whip Go next year, so it'll be on my Whip Go board next year. But so far, sorry, dangling threads, I've just realised, it has been a really enjoyable stitch and I have loved it. So looking forward to doing more on that one. And I'm stitching it 1/2, obviously, my usual fashion. But really good so far, and I am keeping that in my beautiful Teresa Kogut project bag from Pauline at Sobe Bags. So much fun on that one. Where do I put things today? Nicely on the floor next to me. They can't fall over down there, hopefully. New start number 2 was Itch to Stitch by Fibre House. October House Fibre Arts. Tongue twister. So the Itch to Stitch. Really love this. Although straight away I made a bit of an error. So I'm doing this on a 40 count mystery fabric. I've kept it in its little hoop. I'm doing it with a selection of the called for fancy flosses, a couple of the DMCs in there, but I've also thrown some Roxy Floss Co threads in there just to add a bit of variety, and perhaps where I didn't have the called for fancy floss, I have substituted it with the Roxy Floss Co colour, and I think it's just the browns actually for the ends of the bobbins that are the called for DMCs. But I took Felicity to kayaking on Sunday evening. She's got the first weekend of May. She is doing a kayaking river cruise down the River Wye. 35, I think it's 35 miles, not kilometres. That's quite a long way of kayaking with her explorers group for scouts. I think she's going to have a whale of a time, but she had to go and do a little canoe course. So I went and I took my stitching. It was bright enough in there. But I was chatting to one of her friends' mums, and as you can see, I've done this spool in one colour, and which is Roxy Floss Co. I think that was Blink 182, and then I've done this one in 11 points. But as I was at kayaking, I actually stitched the top of that in Blink 182. Pink. The band is Blink 182. The colour is Pink 182. So I've kind of stopped because I've thought, oh, and actually I'm not going to frog it, and I bet once it's stitched no one will actually notice. I was going to gift it, but I might just put it up on my wall here behind me, because I usually always have the itch to stitch. And I can stitch it again if I want to gift it. So I think I'm just going to leave it. But why is it you make a mistake and you just then go, I don't want to do it anymore? I will. So much other stuff as well. So that was start number 2 since I last saw you. Start number 3. Now this was one that I did say I was going to start at the beginning of April, and I didn't, because just perhaps felt a little bit overwhelmed then, and so I started it 2 days ago. I haven't shown it on my Instagram yet because I think I might gift it, and the friend that I'm thinking I might gift it to does look at my Instagram, but she doesn't watch me on Flosstube, so I haven't shown it yet, but I will pop it on there just because I want a record. So this is start number 22, and it is Friends Are Like Flowers, and it was a Lucy Beam pattern, so it's by Rebecca Nolan, and it was in Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher last summer, but actually she's just released it at Nashville, so you can now buy it as a standalone pattern. So I will just pop the picture up here from Punch Needle and Primitive Stitcher. So this is my progress so far. I have just done the WERS, so the end of flowers, and that is in called for Cinders, which is definitely one of my favourite colours. I think it's Gentle Arts. And I'm stitching this. This is just a gorgeous colour fabric. This is a Tom and Lily Creates, and it is from the spring pack from last summer. I've got a feeling might have been called Bollywood, this one. So it's kind of a bright pink. I'll show you Gathering Strawberries shortly, and that was on the other spring colour, which is a slightly less vibrant pink. But this one is really lovely, and I think with that Cinders, it's beautiful. The Cinders is a kind of dark, fold it a bit better, dark red to almost black, kind of dark burgundy colour, and it's beautiful. I did quite a lot of Cinders on Supernatural SAL, so love that. And that fabric is 32 count even weave, and I'm using all called for either the Fancy Floss or the DMC with that one, whichever I had. I'm using what I had in my stash, so it is potentially a mix. So that was my third start since I last saw you. And then I have been working on my whips as well. As you know, I had a trip down to the southwest of England last week. We had a team meeting for the small company that I work for in Exeter. We are all remote, we all work remotely. And as you know, those of you who know Charlie, who is Stitches with Charlie Feathers, now works for the same company. So we were able to meet there, which was wonderful. It was really lovely to see her. I'll talk a little bit more about that at the end. And so I had rather a long train journey down there. So one of the projects that I took with me, and I didn't actually get stitched as much as I would like to, because on the way down I had one change, so I was on 2 different trains, and it was very busy. It was really, really busy. So on the first train I was able to stitch a little bit on Gathering Strawberries, and on the second train I did a little bit of the Modern Folk embroidery, and then the next day managed to stitch a little bit on. Then I had two changes. Managed to stitch a little bit on the first train, nothing on the second because it was more of a commuter train. It was very busy. That bit was only half an hour, and then I did stitch some more on the second bit. So I did do quite a bit. I didn't do quite a bit on Coffee and Eggs, but I have made some progress. Doesn't look like much, but there was quite a bit of stitching. I think I've got a picture of this pre where I stitched it, so I'll let you see that. And then this is where I did. So I've managed to fill in a bit of the jacket here. So not a huge amount, but a reasonable amount. I'm making progress. So there we go with that. So this is Coffee and Eggs. It is by the Artsy Housewife with that lovely red chicken on it. And I'm stitching this in a mix of mainly Roxy Floss Co. that I have picked myself, because I didn't have the Roxy Floss Co. conversion colours. Some of them I did, some not. So I've pretty much made my own colours for that, with a couple of DMCs just thrown in where I didn't have a good equivalent colour. So little bits. That got some on the second train, on the third train, my final train on the way back. I managed to get quite a bit of that. That was the progress I made on that. And then the next one, and that's stitched on Weeks Dye Works parchment, which is 35 counts. I think it's old Weeks fabric. So Gathering Strawberries by Annie B's Folk Art. Yes, that's right. And I'm stitching this on Tom and Lily creates the other spring fabric, which, as you can see, is the slightly paler pink. And so that first train journey, I managed to fill in all of that. And then since, I've managed to do a little bit of the flowers and also some of her skirt. So I've made this one I've been really enjoying, actually. Really enjoying stitching on 32 count. Haven't done it for a while, and I think you'll agree that although I'm using one strand of thread over two, the coverage is fantastic. So more than happy with that. Really, yeah, really enjoyed that. I think I will try, I say I'm going to try for a finish on this one before I next speak to you, but I'm not going to make any promises. And of course, that's in my lovely bag from Roz that I keep that one in. And I'm stitching this with predominantly called for fancy floss, and then there's a couple of DMCs that I've either thrown in as substitutes, or they were there and I didn't have the fancy floss. I think actually the chart is a bit of a mix of fancy floss and DMC. I think it is, yeah. My next WIP, Garden of Dreams by Barbara Anna, and I am stitching this with Stitchy Sally for our Wednesday night Wednesday nights Barbara Anna night. And I think last time I spoke to you, I'd had a little bit of a boo-boo on this, in that I had made a little bit of an error, and I needed to either frog or fudge or do something. I did manage. So I think, if you can remember, I'd stitched, somehow I'd got a stitch somewhere. I don't know, it could be right. I'm not entirely sure what I've done, but what I have done is frogged just a layer of her hair here, so that I didn't have to unpick all of this. So I managed to fudge it by changing her hair. So I'm stitching this on a 32 count even weave from Fabrics by Crafty Kate. This was one of her fabrics of the month last year. I'm stitching it with the called for DMC, and as you can see, because I'm stitching on the green fabric, I'm not planning on stitching that green background, so hopefully it should save me quite a bit of time. But now I've since I've managed that fudge, I've just started down here. I have done a little bit of a hair there just to make sure that all worked. And there's a needle there. Let's take that out and put them where the needles live, so that I don't lose it, because I seem to be short on needles. So I'm back to loving this one, because because of that error, I did fall out of love with it for a week. And I did just put it to one side while I decided what to do, but I'm now happy with it and we're cracking on again. So it's a beautiful one. So there's a few other people stitching it with us. I think Debbie is stitching it as well. I think somebody else, I can't remember, and I didn't write it down. I need to write these things down when I actually see them on Instagram of who's joining in. And then final WIP for this time round, bit of train stitching. So this is Modern Folk Embroidery, and it's 10 Merry Sailors and their loyal dog. This is what it looked like last time you saw it. So this is a pattern that was part of the Stitch in London kind of retreat pack, and this was another train stitch. I managed to see it quite well, so there we go. As you can see, I've managed to fill in quite a bit of this, and then I did manage to do kind of 2 or 3 rows down here. So a bit of progress, so quite pleased. Oh, and I think last night I stitched that bit of mast as well. So this is on a 36 count vintage country mocha, and it's stitched 1/2, and I'm stitching it with Roxy Floss Co. I was just going to show it to you, but I think because I was stitching it last night, it's on my laptop instead of in the bag, and it's Great Lakes. So beautiful, beautiful. There we go, just so you can see the colour a bit better. Beautiful, beautiful blue, dark blue. Really, really loving that. So enjoyable. I'd like to say I think that's going to be a quick stitch, but I think with the border and the alphabet, it's going to take a while. So we'll see. I'm not... Roz asked me earlier how many... So where was I up to with my 50 new starts, and how many had I actually finished? Was I aiming to finish? Was I, you know, how did I feel about it? Because Roz is quite a monogamous stitcher. She does lots of other crafts as well. She paints and makes clothes, and you know has far more creative outlets than I do. So she perhaps has 2 or 3 projects on a time, and certainly just like, oh, I couldn't do 50 new starts in a year, and couldn't start something and then put it down for a while. So I have now started out of my 50. So we're just at the end of April. So we're what, a third of the way through? Yeah, third of the way through. Maths in my head. So I've done 22 new starts. So I'm nearly halfway. Considering we're only a third of the way through the year, I'm nearly halfway, and very much wanted to put more starts at the beginning of the year so that some of the bigger ones could get work done later during the year. I stitched a lot of smalls, so I finished 10 of those 22 already. So 10 of my new starts for 2024 have been finished. Not fully finished, but finished. So I'm quite pleased with that I've started nearly half and finished a fifth. Not bad going. And I think, you know, I've got Spring Quaker. I've still got Remember Me, Teresa Koga, which is my only... I've got two whips from 2023. Everything else is my new starts from 2024. So Teresa Koga's Remember Me is one of my 2023 starts. So, you know, that won't be finished this year. That is a big one. Spring Quaker is a big one. I've got another new start coming up in May. That's a big one. So, but no pressure. I thought I would have a lot more new starts where I perhaps pick them up, do 5 or 10 stitches and put them down, and that'd be it for a couple of months. But no, I think I have made really, really good progress on most of my whips. I've put in quite a few stitches, and there are a couple that I haven't picked up for a couple of months. You know, I started there's 1 or 2 I started in January, and I haven't stitched them since January or February, but that's okay. That's absolutely fine. I'm more than happy with that. But there are, you know, earlier in the week I still had the friends are like flowers that I hadn't started, and I did say I'd start that at the beginning of the month, and I thought, no, I want to get a finish in before I start it. I want to get a finish in, and Schoolgirl Lessons was the one that I thought I could finish the most quickly, and I just head down and I finished it. And you know, potentially there's some other ones that aren't far off that I might do that with. I might go, okay, the next couple of days I really want to concentrate on getting a finish before I start something new. So, you know, averaging 4 starts a month, that's kind of really 1 a week. So it's not posing too difficult at the moment. So that was my whips. As you know, my plans for May, we've got Blooming Tiny Town that I'm starting with Nadine on the 4th of May. With Thy Hands, so I've got a start date now for With Thy Hands from Teresa Koga. I can't wait to stitch this one, but Natalie from @sew_stitch_sew on Instagram and here on Flosstube contacted me and said, I bought a copy, I'm waiting for it to be delivered, I'd love to start it with you. But I'm not sure when I'm going to get it. So we've agreed that we're going to start this on the 27th of May. So nearer the end of May. I just about got a little bit of control to do that. It's all ready to go. It's all kitted up. I've got some Country Vintage mocha that was in my stash that I'm going to stitch it on. Sally, Stitchy Sally, and Elaine at Ellie Stitcher are both doing this, and they both are stitching it already on Vintage Country Mocha, so I know that it looks great. So that's what I'm going to do. So if you would like to try and get hold of this one, I think Natalie's had to go and buy it at 123 Stitch, but you know, go and have a look if you'd like to join us. 27th of May, that is going to be a new start for me. Then Mildred Strawberry from the Blackbird Friends book that Sarah and I both got from Roz. We're going to start that on the 20th of May, and then I'm also going to start the Big Chicken Little Chicken Pin Keep from Stacey Nash at some point in May, but I haven't got a date for that. I've also got another one that I'm adding in for May that I hadn't planned, and that is the Dreaming of Summer SAL from Love Poppet. That opened for pre-orders yesterday, and it's going to start on the 16th of May. So we've only got a little sneak peek of this at the moment, and this is what it looks like so far with the sneak peek. But if you'd like to join me on stitching that one, I'll put the details for Love Poppet down below for their Instagram and their website for you if you would like to join me to go and order it. And then June, we've already talked about Barbara Anna Light, which I'm going to stitch with Sarah, and also the Summer Bouquet from Yasmin, which I'm going to stitch as well. So lots and lots of plans coming up, lots of really summery things that I'm looking forward to. So that is going to be fantastic. I've now got a lovely pile here of Stitchy Kindness, and there's only a very tiny bit of haul. Haven't really bought anything this month. So last week met Charlie for our work day. Obviously our other workmates were there as well, but we did manage to get some Stitchy chat in, and we didn't take any pictures. We took one one little selfie. There are some other pictures with all our work colleagues in, but obviously I'm not going to share that on here just for their privacy. But we had a really lovely day. We went and did an activity. So there are 6 of us that work in the company, and we went and first of all we met at a pottery shop, and we did paint a pot, but we also got a chance to throw a pot. It was already on the wheel, and I've made a really tiny little pot that I'm hoping, quite short and stout, that I'm hoping I'll be able to keep my scissors in. Perhaps put something in at the bottom and then keep my scissors in. So when those arrive, they're going to get, obviously they have stayed in Exeter, where we had our day out. They've stayed in Exeter, so they will be posted when they've been glazed and fired and etc. So they'll come up to me in the post. So I'll show you when they arrive. But it was a lovely day, and of course Charlie cannot help herself from gifting me some little bits. So Charlie, I did send something with Charlie, but actually it was for Evie, her daughter. So I felt a bit bad, but I think Charlie will also get some joy out of what I sent for Evie. So some lovely Charlie floss drops, and some of her, are these the jelly ones? But gorgeous. And of course, as I'm doing 50 new starts for 50, I need these. One of my friends did actually ask me if I would do a video about how I'm managing to kit up for 50 projects. So if you'd like to see that, let me know. And then if there's enough people that would like to see how I'm managing it and what I'm doing, I'll do you a little video, and then a little bit of bling to go on with my threads, a little fuzzy bee, which I love. So thank you Charlie for my little presents. Absolutely love. And of course I've seen Hazel and Roz today, which was just lovely. And yes, we met at a farm, and it was really quite funny because farm with a farm shop and a cafe, and we kind of sat, and I was sat looking at Roz and Hazel, and a couple of times I went, oh, look at the chickens, and I had to turn around and look out the window, and there were chickens behind us, which was quite funny. But Roz had bought me a chart that she'd picked up from a de-stash table, I think, actually. And she said, oh, actually, I looked at it and thought, I don't think I'll stitch it, but I know somebody who will. So she kindly bought me this. And I think it's from the World of Cross Stitching originally. So certainly, I think there's some gorgeous little chickens on that. And they would be great for, I think, little smalls, little hoops. So I think, yeah, I've got a couple of ideas about those already. And then Hazel, for those who've met Hazel at a retreat, Hazel just is incredible. Hazel loves not only stitching but also quilting and putting things together. And if you happen to be at a retreat with Hazel, you'll know, because you will suddenly find little tiny presents at your table. Every single time you go away, you come back, there's another little present. And so I think if you go back to my Stitch in London video, you'll see some of the gorgeous little things. And actually, I think this is one of Hazel's little pouches that I used for travelling last week with my scissors and my pencil in. So lovely little things that Hazel makes. So of course, Hazel turns up with both some gifts for both Roz and I. It was Roz's birthday meetup, but of course I got some presents too. So absolutely thrilled. So chicken, look at that magnificent, gorgeous chicken. I think Hazel has said that this she stitched it with a cotton garden thread, and she thinks it was a something out of a magazine, World of Cross Stitch, or just Cross Stitch from a few years ago. And so it's lovely quilting on the outside, and then look at this on the inside. So it's got a little thread bed on Velcro, so you can take that out, and then a little pocket there, and then a little charm there to zip in. Oh, and there's two pockets. Oh, she's so clever, Hazel. There's actually a front pocket and a pocket behind as well in that. So that's amazing. Absolutely. She's such a talented lady, Hazel. But that wasn't the only thing. So also, and so this came kind of tied up. And this is going to be great for retreats. So a little kind of thing that you could perhaps have in front of you with your scissors on and things. This little pouch with a little rosette on. Again, beautifully quilted. Lots of little birds on it. So little birds here. There's owls here. Every time I looked at it, I could see something different. The little bird houses inside. And then, was it this one that had the hedgehogs on? Oh no, it was this one. I love hedgehogs as well. So I'm getting the little hedgehogs on this. But then, oh, it doesn't end just with that she's made a pouch. No. Little tiny. And then isn't that cute? Isn't that cheeky cute? I think Hazel said she got this one from a magazine as well. But absolutely gorgeous. And look, her name on the back as well. And Roz had some equally beautiful gifts. We both had a little project folder and one of these. And Roz had a little cushion as well. So thank you, Hazel. Beautiful, beautiful gifts. Beautiful gifts. And it's lovely to see Hazel with her Stitchy bug back. Stitchy kindness doesn't end there. I also had a little win on Instagram. So I won some threads from the lovely Amanda, who is at needle_and_thread on Instagram. And she put up a little competition to win CXC threads. She had a spare set. I think she buys her CXC from Rachel, who is a talking dog stitcher, and she'd got some spare. She is stitching as part of the hashtag Stitch the Rainbow SAL. So she had spare threads, and so she put a little competition on Instagram, and they're in the bag, but I think that's the best way to see them actually. Look at those beautiful colours. Aren't they absolutely gorgeous? Now I had seen these being used by both Tan, who is the monogamous stitcher, and Amy at Sew Make and Creates. So Make and Create. They are both stitching the Stitch the Rainbow SAL, and both using, I think, these colours, but on a dark fabric. It looks fabulous, and I'd actually been really enabled by seeing Tan start, and I thought, I really love that. So when Amanda put this competition up, I thought, oh, I'm going to enter that just in case. Probably won't win. I'd already won something. Can you remember my little toadstools? So I thought, oh, wait, win a second time, but I did. Absolutely thrilled. So my one bit of haul, and actually, let me just show you. So Amanda didn't just send the threads. Yum. Maltesers and Ferrero Rocher are probably my favourite chocolates. Got like a Toblerone as well. All chocolate, but yum. So that was a bit of Stitchy kindness, and as a result of winning those, I had my one bit of haul. I've been very good this month. My one bit of haul is buying the Quaker tiles on white. I'll put a picture here so that I can join the Stitch the Rainbow SAL. So this is from the Vivsters, which I know quite a lot of people are stitching the flags, and actually I do plan on buying the Welsh Dragon flag. I don't think I will stitch that this year. I am going to start this Quaker tiles soon. But I have decided, I've been through my stash, and none of the darker colours. So I quite like Tan and Amy are both stitching theirs on a dark colour. I think Amy dyed a piece of fabric for both of them, so they've got the same. But actually I did think I was going to have enough, because actually the instructions that are on the chart, I thought, oh yeah, no, I've got that much fabric. And then I read it a bit more closely, and that was stitching it over one. And I thought, no, I'm not stitching it over one. I have got some 25 count white fabric that I thought, well, maybe I could stitch over one on 25 count, but I don't think I'll enjoy it. I don't think I'll enjoy it. I'm so used to stitching over two, one strand over two, that I think I need to stitch over two threads on the linen rather than one. Otherwise I think I'll just get myself too confused. So what my plan is to actually buy some, I think I'm just going to buy some 36 count white to stitch this on, because I think really that will show the colours off to their absolute best. So I've been umming and ahhing a bit. Haven't got anything in stash, so that is something I'm going to buy probably this month. So may put this into June for a start, but you know, I do want to start it soon, because I would like to be doing it when Tan and Amy are doing it. Although Tan's is monogamous as the name, so she might finish this quite quickly. But yeah, so I probably will buy some white quite quickly, and may even sneak into May. We'll see. Can't help myself. This is why actually starting 50 new starts this year has been so easy, because I see something and I want to stitch it. And actually, there isn't anything that I've started out of those 22 that I've started. There isn't anything that I don't still love. Wanted to just carry on with everything. And if I had more time, I'd stitch full time. I really would. Unfortunately, I have to work to pay the bills and to buy all this lovely stitchy stuff. And yeah, work is wonderful. I love my job. But yeah, I've done, my boss this week has said, could you do more hours? It's busy, so I am doing a few more hours, so it may just cut down on my stitchy time just a little bit. Not much, just a little bit. But yeah, so many beautiful things, and so many wanting to start straight away. That just, yeah, that's life, isn't it? But yeah, so that's where I'm up to. As you can see, still managed to get quite a bit done despite work trips and days to meet friends for brunch. Haven't done any stitching yet today, but I will get around to some. Luckily we've got a quiet weekend ahead of us, and then yeah, so hopefully get some bits and bobs done. So thank you for joining me. It's been lovely to catch up with you. It's been lovely to show you all the wonderful things that I've either been working on or I've been gifted. It's just been, yeah, lovely, lovely. And I hope that you managed to get some stitching done and get some downtime and some peace and quiet. And that's what I love about stitching, just the relaxing, the peace and quiet, and just being able to, yeah, get on and do it. So happy stitching, everybody, and I shall see you probably in about 2 weeks. Take care. Bye.